as far as drugs go, something that we've kind of
Okay.
explained to our daughter is it's medicine. So we would never recommend taking medicine if we don't need it.
Mhm.
And we only take medicine for certain things that we need medicine for.
Mhm.
I know for my own cannabis use too, it really is medicinal for me.
Mm.
And so I it's not necessarily something I want to use at like parties and things like that. And same with microdosing. It's medicinal in so many ways, right? I have good friends of mine that have been able to come off of anti-anxiety medication and antidepressants by switching to microdosing because
Yeah.
it's medicine. And when you start to study the neuroscience behind the mechanisms of how psilocybin works and even how cannabis works,
Mhm.
they're incredible. But
Yeah.
also, I'm like, psilocybin, especially heroic dose, goes through and breaks down your default mode network, which is essentially your sense of self.
Mhm.
For me personally, that's not something I want to do in public. That's
Oh, yeah,
something I want to do with
for sure.
intention. That's something that I want to do where I can pay attention to what's going through. And for a lot of people, especially a first time, that might be an unpleasant experience because it is a death of self.
Yeah.
And it feels like a death of self for a lot of people. You want to go into that with intention. You want to pay attention to what you're going through. Like all of these things can be so medicinal if we allow them. It almost breaks my heart that we've turned any of this stuff into like party drugs, if you will. And also, we have to be so careful about the use of these things with the teenage brain. So, the
Yeah.
cannabis studies that they've done on the brain before the age of 30 are alarming. They worry me.
Mm.
Post 30, when your brain's crystallized and you've got a little bit, you've fully developed that prefrontal cortex, way safer to use cannabis. And I'm
Mm.
explaining that to my daughter. I'm like, we would like your brain to mature and develop unharmed. We want to just leave it be. So, no alcohol,
Mhm.
no cannabis, no tobacco, because we love those pink, fluffy lungs of yours.
Yeah.
And we want
Yeah.
to leave it that way. And I have explained to both my daughters, even with my second one having type 1 diabetes, I'm like, your body belongs to me until you're 18. And I'm going to do everything I can to hand you your 18-year-old body in good shape and say, okay, I took really good care of it until you were 18. Now you need to keep taking good care of it because I worked really hard on this.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I wanted to throw in there, um, you mentioned friends getting off antidepressants with microdosing and how microdosing actually it makes new neural connections and
Totally.
it feels like, you're a little more they in the science, you
Mm-hmm.
can learn things faster, right?
Yep.
The neurofeedback shows you can make progress a lot faster with once you've had some of these psychedelics. But I have a friend who getting off alcohol using
Mm-hmm.
microdosing, which is incredible, and another
Oh,
who got off heroin,